Nyanze Chembor Sodan Mimi, Aldonan Monum Chembor Nagyata, Bakaratangan Santo Sherman, Tumba Tujichan Laki Shum Sar, Nichero Sering Jankans, and Jabber Tijishan Yella, Jimmy Panzozala, Soran, Ogonjur Tobam Hover, Shinjir Lo.
Profound Dharma is rare to encounter in 100,000 eons. Now that I am able to see, hear, receive, and uphold it, may I understand the true meaning of the Tathagata. In order to liberate all sentient beings, let us all give rise to the unsurpassable bodhicitta. Today I am going to talk to everyone about the merits of praying to the great spiritual Guru Padmasambhawa, because Guru Padmasambhawa, the Venerable, as everyone well knows, is the very embodiment of the enlightened body, speech, and mind of all Buddhas of the past, present, and future, united as one singular wisdom deity. He is the deity of great compassion and also the deity of power. He is a deity in whom wisdom, compassion, and power are perfectly united. Therefore, we truly need to pray to Guru Padmasambhawa at all times. By praying in this manner, it becomes easier to dispel obstacles and impediments to our body, speech, and mind in all aspects. Furthermore, the profound realization we are able to attain, especially the realization in the context of Dzogchen, comes very swiftly and effectively through devout praying to the great Guru Padmasambhawa. Therefore, among the many great masters of the past, it is said, those who have attained profound realization through the practice of Vajrayana, almost all of them achieved significant accomplishment by diligently practicing Guru Padmasambhava. So, I truly think today, on the one hand, perhaps generally speaking, the true power of Guru Padmasambhava's aspirations and his ability to care for all beings, indeed no matter who prays to him, will, in a very short period of time, receive some clear and unmistakable signs of blessing or accomplishment. There is absolutely no doubt about this at all whatsoever. I myself, from a very young age, even when the circumstances were very poor, I may have mentioned before, when I was herding yaks, I had a special Tibetan book called A Brief Biography of Guru Padmasambhava, and I would recite it, chanting it. Later on, when I wanted to become a monk and study, many of the necessary conditions had already come together. Perhaps there were other causes and conditions as well. But I personally believe that praying to Guru Rinpoche is extremely important for me to have my wishes fulfilled. The practice of Guru Padmasambhava includes both peaceful and wrathful practices, encompassing a broad spectrum of spiritual disciplines. Some of the serene and peaceful methods of practice were thoroughly discussed before, when I extensively talked about the profound seven-line prayer, and also when I spoke about revealing the path of liberation, which are both significant and foundational teachings. Many Guru Yoga practices also include his methods, and when we discussed the words of my perfect teacher, some of these were also mentioned. As for the wrathful practices, in the terma, Treasures of Various Tertones, there are indeed many different versions. Some wrathful Padmasambhava practices are especially extensive. In the ritual texts we use for major practices now, there are at least several hundred, even thousands of pages. When practicing, some are done over 7 days, some over 3 days. If we are to practice these temporarily now, on the one hand, there is no readily available Chinese translation, and on the other hand, its widespread tradition, including the various kinds of offerings that were made, are extremely complex. In many monasteries in the past, the extensive wrathful Padmasambhava practices were indeed performed, and can be found in the works of various great masters. However, in this degenerate age, if we want to practice these, there are certain difficulties. So I think that the really very much easier practice to do indeed is the one composed by His Holiness Jigme Phuntsok Rinpoche. His wrathful Padmasambhava practice comes in two forms. One is a very simple version of it, a more basic one, which is among the practices we have discussed before. And the other is the practice of Dorje Drolo, which is also a wrathful Padmasambhava practice. But these two practices are slightly different. So today, I would like to give everyone a brief oral transmission and introduce it briefly in terms of its wording. I encourage everyone every year to practice a bit of your own wrathful yidam, the Padmasambhava practice. Why is this actually? Because in this degenerate age, there are many non-human beings and demonic forces, and they are quite rampant indeed. If we use only peaceful methods, such as reciting Avalokiteshvara's mantra or cultivating bodhicitta, it might work, but sometimes the effect is not very obvious. Therefore, we effectively utilize the wrathful Padmasambhava practice, truly fighting poison with poison. In this particular way, the resulting effect is very clearly apparent and profound. Generally speaking, such Padmasambhava practices are not taught to the general public, but rather to a select few fortunate disciples, and the results may be even better. But I think, on one hand, in keeping with some of the lineages of His Holiness, Jigme Phuntsok Rinpoche's especially precious mind hidden treasure practices, it is also truly very necessary to make them available to everyone in this way. Secondly, nowadays each and every one of us in our daily practice and study of Buddhism encounters all kinds of many unimaginable obstacles and adverse conditions. At such critical times, relying on wrathful deity practices may bring immediate and powerful results and should prove to be very effective. In the past, every single year, including myself, sometimes it truly seems that these significant hurdles are very hard to get over. Practicing some of Guru Rinpoche's profound methods, whether individually or as a group, can easily and effectively dispel such significant obstacles. Of course, when we practice Guru Rinpoche, we must always do so with a sense of compassion. I remember when His Holiness first truly began his public teachings, back in the early 1980s. He also transmitted some wrathful Guru Rinpoche practices, including their mantras. I remember at that time there was a couple from Chongqing. Our old Dharma friends probably all know them very well. Back then, when he had just started his spiritual journey, he requested the wrathful Guru Rinpoche mantra from His Holiness, and His Holiness explained. After explaining, later he once came to my home. It wasn't like it is now. At that time, whoever came, my courtyard didn't have a gate, it was open. At that time, he said, "Now, when I practice the wrathful Guru Rinpoche, the responses are quite strong. I've accomplished the practice." How do you know you've accomplished it? Now, I use a very stern, indeed, a very intense anger to start reciting that powerful mantra. As a direct result, I feel as if my numerous enemies are being utterly smashed to pieces. I said, practicing like this is definitely not right. You shouldn't use anger to practice this subjugation method. Later, I think I accidentally mentioned this to His Holiness as well. His Holiness also criticized this in class, saying that practicing with anger is not right. For example, if I have an adversarial person, someone who is against me, or some non-human being is harming me, and I want to use Guru Rinpoche to take revenge on them, to get back at them. If you practice in this particular way, it means your fundamental motivation is already quite wrong. So this kind of motivation is absolutely unacceptable. Each of us might have someone you dislike, or someone who creates obstacles for you. There are such people. But you cannot use them as the object of your practice. So what should you do then? Because in each of our own mind streams, including myself, there are actually some demonic forces of discursive thoughts, which in fact can be destroyed by the wrathful Vajra aspect of Guru Rinpoche, with the powerful and fierce conditions he embodies. Whether it's the anger in your mind stream, or greed, or ignorance, when these are very strong and quite destructive, they are also a kind of wrathful non-human manifestation. If you use the innate wisdom and awareness of Guru Padmasambhava, and if you practice diligently with this, then it can truly pierce through everything. So generally speaking, for example, the wrathful practice of Guru Rinpoche is a profound and significant teaching. It can deal with both outer and inner obstacles, such as external obstacles, including the four primary elements of earth, water, fire, and wind, interpersonal conflicts between people, or sudden challenges that may arise unexpectedly, harm caused by humans or other non-human beings, and so on. These are generally considered external obstacles. Now, this truly significant Guru Rinpoche practice can dispel all these various obstacles. If the obstacles are internal, we often experience various mental afflictions, such as disturbing emotions, profound delusions, debilitating fear, all kinds of pervasive hesitation and deep-seated doubt, various forms of intense grief, and so on. These challenging states can also be effectively dispelled through the dedicated practice of Guru Rinpoche. If there are any secret or esoteric obstacles, what is the greatest attachment on the secret level? It is what we call profound ignorance, the ignorance of not truly recognizing the fundamental true nature of reality. Once ignorance arises, the deluded thoughts of desire, anger, and ignorance become very strong. This intensity is very much like a wrathful manifestation, a particularly terrifying host of demons. If viewed from the negative side, it is an especially frightening and coarse image. If viewed from the positive side, as the truly profound innate wisdom of the Vajra awareness, it is actually the true nature of the wrathful, truly great Guru Rinpoche. Relying on the wisdom sword of the wrathful Guru Rinpoche, one can effectively cut through or deeply pierce the coarse, external and truly demonic forms of ignorant, dualistic thoughts. Then everything, absolutely everything, will be completely wiped out. There will be tremendous benefit. So I think when many of us truly practice, if we go a bit deeper into our spiritual practice, we should fully understand that all external perceived demons may appear extremely terrifying and truly dreadful to our minds and senses, with a particularly unapproachable and fierce appearance that we are often unwilling to accept. However, if you truly recognize the inner state of your own mind, once the mind becomes calm and settled, the entire world becomes peaceful as well. So this is truly the most thorough and the most profound, the very fierce and powerful essence of Guru Rinpoche. Therefore, in our daily practice, we should always remember this profound teaching. Of course, when we engage in the profound wrathful practices of Guru Rinpoche, just as meticulously described in our sacred sadhanas, he is indeed depicted as powerfully trampling upon both male and female demonic figures, firmly grasping a diverse array of formidable weapons in his hands. However, in reality, this vivid and striking imagery is merely a symbolic representation, not a literal portrayal of events or beings. On the inner level, it is truly the marvelous and profound function of our innate wisdom, a deep understanding that guides us. Therefore, when we engage in our spiritual practice, it is absolutely essential that we never harbor feelings of anger or resentment within our hearts, nor this kind of wrathfulness, even within ourselves, thinking, Guru Rinpoche is angry, so I am angry too. Just like that lay practitioner from Chongqing mentioned earlier, now I am practicing with anger, so I must be doing it right. This kind of thinking is a mistaken way of practicing. It also does not align with the true essence of Buddhism. So I truly think that in our very process of practice, we must absolutely have at least one crucial fundamental premise: to recognize that in this world, all these terrifying terrors and malevolent demons, all these significant obstacles and truly adverse conditions, whether they appear before you in human form or non-human form, in the form of illness or disease, or even if you cannot see them with your eyes or cannot truly touch them with your mind, but they are still incredibly powerful and formidable obstacles. At such challenging times, we humbly pray to the revered Guru Padmasambhawa, who effectively subdues these hindrances with a fierce and wrathful appearance. If you also find it difficult to accept the wrathful form, because generally the methods of subjugation and union practices seem to be hard for ordinary people to accept, in such cases you can recite Guru Rinpoche's heart mantra more often and frequently chant the 7-line prayer. We also mentioned this in Journey to the West, Memoirs, and His Holiness Jigme Phuntsok Rinpoche also talked about this in Guru Rinpoche's Pith Instructions. At that time, His Holiness Jigme Phuntsok Rinpoche was in Boston. Was it Boston or New York? It was Boston, wasn't it? It was in that talk, a discussion on Guru Padmasambhawa, where this was mentioned. His Holiness told that there were several different, probably more than a dozen, epithets of Guru Rinpoche. Among them were the revered Lion's Roar Guru, the compassionate loving wisdom Guru, the enlightened Padmasambhawa, and many other significant figures. I remember that dzongsarkhyentserinpoche even composed a special supplication prayer for the different names of Guru Padmasambhawa. When it's convenient in the future, even though there's no formal transmission, I can still translate it for everyone. Guru Rinpoche truly does manifest in different ways, with different names and different forms to greatly benefit countless sentient beings. So each and every one of us should, as I've mentioned before, this is just my own experience, and maybe it won't resonate with all of you, because everyone's individual capacity and personal inclinations are truly different. But truly, if you have an image of Guru Rinpoche on your person or his sacred mantra in this particular way, it is definitely the very best kind of protective amulet. So the Guru Rinpoche's practice we are talking about today is actually revealed by His Holiness Jigme Phuntsok Rinpoche. Let me first recite the lineage for this. Strictly speaking, one should first receive the empowerment of the wrathful Guru Rinpoche. But this empowerment of the Wrathful Guru Rinpoche is very profound. Right now, I might not quite dare to do it, because there are all kinds of people here. But as for this practice, you can practice it with the external method or the internal method. So today I will recite the general external method's transmission. After giving the precious oral transmission of this practice, I will briefly explain the literal meaning. Then perhaps we can all collectively recite it together just once as a unified group practice. In this particular way, it may dispel many obstacles for our institute and for individuals, including many adverse conditions at our Dharma Center. Last year or the year before, I also mentioned this to everyone. No matter whether I am here in the future or not, each of you should recite more often this Wrathful Guru Rinpoche practice. Among the liturgies of His Holiness, I have also transmitted a portion of them. But perhaps, as you may have noticed, the practice I treasure most is the Wrathful Guru Rinpoche practice. This is closely related to one's own practice and also has some spiritual connection and response. Because each person for themselves, for example, if I take this medicine and it works well, I will do my best to recommend others to try it too. But if I haven't experienced any effect myself, then recommending it to others doesn't have meaning. However, I was concerned because this Dharma practice is very profound, including its empowerment, which is also very deep. But later, after thinking about it for a long time and observing various signs in myself, in the end, there was really no other way at the time. So for people outside, I use the internet to give them a simple explanation, including its specific empowerment, as well as another empowerment of body, speech, and mind from Guru Padmasambhawa. These are done yearly. This year, I will recite this important transmission for everyone present.
Guru Chakbu Driptabnum, Kunde Tamjil Domane, Marti Katar Nanyali, Rigbachile Nyamper, Running Guru Chakbu, no Marpo Jarti Sherni Pa. Chrir Dorji Namkar Shara Yomber Dingsum Tikaran Zana Jani Richap Humur Tang Kartam Yang Sertavi the Chernam Kalarzo Ishime Pong Barbi we Cho Chom Sun Cha Chartaram Bev Dopon Jombir Ker Sir Tikanyertan Home Tar Home Tam Tar Nerdim Chanwe Ye so Kur de Tonson Yojanger Namto Deduk Mamit Ger Gur Artsing Namo Bangava de Home Pat Samir Chak the Lepa Virtual Diti Honam Ger Chokton Uchup Guntup Ger Padmi Mangam Tartigan the Garden Nyanga with Re Shimjo Dutti Niense Tse Sninga Nam Chaparasho Samaya Yedya.
Next, I will proceed to discuss about this significant lineage of His Holiness in more detail. His Holiness' practice of the Wrathful Guru Padmasambhawa. In fact, it should be considered to be from the time when His Holiness, in the year 1989, went to give teachings at the prestigious Advanced Buddhist Institute in Beijing, and later went to Lhasa, to Sami, and to Sami Chimfu. On the way, he encountered a powerful demoness. This significant event is also specifically mentioned in the biography I wrote some time before, and it should also be in the extensive biography of His Holiness. At that particular time, there was some significant interference from some mischievous demonesses. After the interference, His Holiness specifically performed this practice, manifesting himself in the wrathful form of Guru Padmasambhawa, and then completely subdued her. Subsequently, he profoundly created the Wrathful Guru Rinpoche practice and its sacred empowerment. The primary cause and condition at that specific time was situated within a secluded cave at the sacred site of Sami Chimfu. Within this cave, there was a remarkably unique, conch-shaped treasure casket located there. Relying on the auspicious connection of the treasure casket, he composed a concise sadhana for the Wrathful Guru Rinpoche. In fact, His Holiness said that in this cave there are especially many terma teachings of Guru Rinpoche. There are both peaceful and wrathful ones. However, due to a variety of complex and challenging circumstances that have now emerged, the powerful and profound wrathful practice was carefully brought forth and openly revealed. This was left as a precious legacy for future generations, including when His Holiness went to Bhutan. At first, it was also specifically intended for the King of Bhutan, as well as their Queen and Royal Inner Circle, His Holiness performed a Wrathful Guru Rinpoche empowerment. He also gave them prophecies. I think this is mentioned in A Dreamy Pilgrimage with My Guru 30 years ago, right? At that time, the country of Bhutan was facing the danger of being annexed by other countries. His Holiness used a snow mountain as a metaphor. He said that if you sincerely pray to Guru Rinpoche, the majestic snow mountain will endure forevermore. Otherwise, it will not. The intense sunlight of a certain country will inevitably cause your beautiful snow mountain to vanish without a trace. Later, it is widely said that they engaged in some very special spiritual practices as well, including at that time the revered Dzongsarkhyentserinpoche, who was then the national spiritual teacher of the King of Bhutan when he met His Holiness. He also insisted that they must practice this Dharma, including Dzongsarkhyentserinpoche himself, who always, I think he passed away in 1992, even before his passing, he practiced very diligently and with profound dedication. In fact, both Dzongsarkhyentserinpoche and Dudjom Rinpoche were truly exemplary figures among these modern Nyingma masters. They are among the most remarkable. They have many prayers to Guru Rinpoche, including Dudjom Rinpoche. He has a relatively concise, wrathful form of Guru Rinpoche. This is exactly the same as the sacred tiger's nest terma of His Holiness, the revered spiritual leader. It is also the Dorje Drolo form. The only difference is that what he holds is not an iron scorpion. It should be one sacred and powerful ritual Vajra scepter. Except the difference between an iron scorpion and a Vajra scepter, many aspects are very similar, including Wrathful Guru Rinpoche from Tiger's Nest, mantra recited hum, hum, hum. In Dudjom Rinpoche's sadhana, it's also hum, hum, hum. Actually, I think that in many cases, the ocean of wisdom of these great masters merges into one. It's just that in front of disciples with different karmic connections, they manifest specific lineages and sadhanas. So later, His Holiness also, after giving a prophecy to the King of Bhutan at that time, went to the Tiger's Nest the next day. At the Tiger's Nest, he revealed the sadhana of the Wrathful Guru Rinpoche, a short one. At that time, it was also said that originally, in that context, there were about 12 volumes of Guru Rinpoche's terma teachings, which is quite a lot. But in order not to disrupt the interdependent conditions, he also revealed the concise sadhana of Guru Rinpoche from the Tiger's Nest. In this very way indeed. During our practice, I look at this and wonder whose it is, whether it belongs to a Khenpo or someone else. You see, the practice is actually quite diligent. He kept reciting it so much that the edges are already worn out. Today, there was a rather sudden inspection. This particular one has probably been recited quite often and continuously indeed. I've mentioned this a few times before. So as for me, allow me to briefly and clearly explain the literal meaning of this to everyone present. When he practices the Wrathful Guru Rinpoche sadhana, first, regarding all existing phenomena encompassed by the entirety of samsara and the cycle of nirvana, from beginning to end they are all unborn and of empty nature. In their originally pure state, one first visualizes that all phenomena encompassed by samsara and nirvana transform into emptiness. This is explained when discussing the three samadhis, and it is of primary importance. Everything transforms into emptiness. There are various methods of visualization within emptiness. During the generation stage, one visualizes the seed syllable. One may visualize the moon disk, the sun disk, and so on, many methods. This is a very sharp and direct method of practice. Therefore, when visualizing, it is very much like our own internal awareness and our own conscious mind. Just as if we were observing a flowing river within its vast expanse of water, sometimes a fish will suddenly and gracefully leap out from the surface in a very brief moment. So in an instant, one vividly visualizes the Wrathful Guru Padmasambhawa truly. This remarkable phenomenon occurs in a single fleeting instant, much like the breathtaking sight of a fish powerfully leaping out of the water. In that very precise and fleeting instant, one immediately vividly visualizes the wrathful form of Guru Padmasambhawa. So what exactly is this wrathful form? There is an important image. Now this is the sacred wrathful form of Guru Padmasambhawa. Yes, for now, let's display this image. I will explain based on this. You can look at the sadhana and the image at the same time. What does this image look like? It has one face and two arms. Sometimes the wrathful form of Guru Rinpoche also appears with one face and four arms. This is also mentioned in the autobiography of Dudjom Rinpoche. The wrathful Guru Rinpoche is depicted as having one face and four arms. But this one has one face and two arms. His body color is fiery red, like flames. Some are depicted as dark purple-black, some as purple. There are different variations, but the forms in various sadhanas are all different. Sometimes Guru Padmasambhawa appears in red. It's just like many of us now, wearing black today and red tomorrow. Guru Padmasambhawa manifested before sentient beings, sometimes appearing a bit more red, and sometimes not particularly red. His right hand powerfully wields a vajra high in the air, a symbol which everyone is quite familiar with and understands. Some sources say the vajra is made of iron. In virtually all the numerous photos of Guru Rinpoche, he is consistently shown brandishing a prominent vajra high up in the air. His left hand is at his chest, though in some depictions it is not at his chest but rather actually outside. What exactly is he holding? He is indeed holding a scorpion. As for this particular scorpion, in many of Guru Padmasambhava's sadhanas, it represents a dependent origination and is also very important. I will talk a bit about the merits of the scorpion in a moment. This particular scorpion is actually an iron scorpion. It is a specific type of scorpion that is entirely made of iron. So it is unlike what many people nowadays think about the various 9-headed iron scorpions sold online. There are many iron scorpions. It is a powerful protective ritual object, specifically an iron scorpion. Then his 2 feet are stepping on malevolent male and female demonic figures. If it is in the practice of Dorje Drolo, he rides a wild and ferocious tigress, a female tiger. This wrathful Vajra being is powerfully stepping on male and female demons. His posture is settled in a magnificently proud dancing manner, displaying supreme confidence. His entire body is adorned with the 11 types of charnel ground ornaments and the 8 bone ornaments, all perfectly complete on his body. He is surrounded by a wisdom fire. Around him you can see so many flames. Within the intensely burning flames there are many wrathful minor deities as well as all kinds of potent weapons. Some of these formidable armaments are distinctly identified as dangerous evil scorpions. All of these entities, both the deities and the weapons, are inherently of the very nature of fire and are especially blazing hot. They fall like a gentle rain cascading down. Because you yourself have visualized yourself as a wrathful deity, and as you continually recite the sacred mantra, your entire being gradually transforms into many vibrant dancing flames. And within the flames, all sorts of things appear, such as vajras, blades, and all kinds of various weapons, including evil scorpions and the like. Then these begin to utterly destroy all the malevolent demons, their retinues, all hindering obstacles, and any non-human beings, which are all formed by the various conceptual afflictions of this world. All of these are completely and utterly destroyed without any remainder. Indeed, as you diligently recite, you also vividly imagine that all negative conditions are completely transformed in this profound way. And as you are continuously reciting, on the radiant sun disk at your very heart, there is a blue hum syllable, and around the blue hum syllable is a garland of mantras, which revolves to the right in the manner of the wrathful Guru Rinpoche's mantra garland. As you recite, it spins, and while chanting this mantra, it seems to shake the entire 3,000-fold world system. At this precise moment, all the demons and obstacles that arise from your conceptual and deluded thoughts are all completely annihilated, all turn into mere empty names, and all vanish without a trace. Recite within this kind of visualization. Just keep reciting this. In a moment, we will also recite it together. If you recite in this way, reciting such a powerful mantra, you will overcome all obstacles and demonic forces, and also attain both uncommon and common siddhis, which are supreme spiritual and ordinary accomplishments. Among Guru Rinpoche's most profound essential pith instructions, this is indeed the deepest one. Those of us with the right karmic connection should always keep it hidden within our own hearts. In the future, during the degenerate age, when numerous evil forces run rampant and cause harm to you, disciples with the right spiritual connection will inevitably encounter him. If you do come across it, it's like buying gold. Perhaps only those with wealth can really afford to buy it. Otherwise, since the price of gold is very high, ordinary people may not be able to buy it. So those who encounter this Dharma, it shows that they have a karmic connection with Guru Rinpoche's teachings and also with His Holiness teachings, because from 1989 until now, such a long time has passed, it has already been more than 30 years. After more than 30 years, we have now encountered this Dharma. As long as we have faith ourselves, If we have faith in Guru Rinpoche, with unwavering determination, we should be able to overcome all obstacles that may arise. This profound insight is something I genuinely wanted to share with everyone present. Now, when it comes to the profound practice of Guru Rinpoche that I just briefly mentioned, it is important to note that there are actually several crucial points to consider. One important aspect I want to mention involves sharing some compelling stories of great masters from the past, or perhaps discussing a bit about certain spiritual practices. One significant example is drawn directly from the detailed biography of Longchenpa, where something like this also occurred. Once Venerable Longchenpa was in a certain place, and it seemed that all kinds of grotesque and eerie skulls appeared. He was in a very dangerous situation at the time. At that precise moment in time, the Venerable Longchenpa visualized Guru Rinpoche in his wrathful Yidam form. Then, with his immense spiritual power, he pressed all these various external skulls into a powerful subjugation stupa. He himself also miraculously manifested, gracefully levitating high in the air. In this particular way, all of these significant obstacles completely disappeared into the vast and boundless Dharmadhatu. At that time, there was a Lama named Solang Tsangbu, who meticulously described this significant event in his own words. This is something I have previously translated, and it is indeed found within the comprehensive biography of the esteemed Longchenpa. So, this particular aspect is also something truly worth reflecting upon. These great masters of the past, even in their outer appearances, relied on the wrathful Yidam form of Guru Rinpoche to completely and utterly subdue all the demonic forces. This is just one very clear example. There is another case I translated before, I remember, but I haven't had the opportunity as of yet to investigate it fully on this occasion. It should be clearly documented and recorded in the autobiography of the first Dudjom Rinpoche. It seems that when he was just 6 years old, one time something extraordinary and mystical suddenly appeared in the bright sky. There was a mysterious person riding on top of a 9-headed iron scorpion very majestically with great power. He came directly before Dudjom Rinpoche and said that Guru Rinpoche himself requested that you should clearly and consistently visualize your body as an iron scorpion for a very long period of time. Although visualizing your body as an iron scorpion for a long time is generally not considered very good, since it's an animal form, at least temporarily for 3 years, he was instructed to vividly visualize himself as a powerful iron scorpion when preparing to go to sleep each night. Subsequently, this formidable iron scorpion later caused all the significant obstacles he had faced at the tender age of 6 to completely and utterly disappear. All right, they were already completely gone from the scene. So I happened to see something quite interesting online about a 9-headed iron scorpion. I'm just quite sure about your side, but generally, when we see this, it looks very terrifying. It's actually quite frightening. Now, the iron scorpion that Guru Rinpoche was holding just now was a bit different from this one. I wonder if this is the 9-headed iron scorpion that Dudjom Rinpoche personally saw at that very time. It has 9 heads, and the eyes on top of it seem to be even more than just 9 heads. This is just one example. There's also indeed another one present in our Thangka paintings, which specifically features a protective wheel with an iron scorpion. There are also some rituals for this, with mantras in the middle. So sometimes when we look at these, they seem very scary and disgusting. But in reality, when it comes to certain demonic beings, if you want to subdue them, it's like fighting poison with poison. There might be this kind of method. And then there's the revered spiritual teacher, Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche. Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche's distinctive family crest is the powerful iron scorpion. Ever since, I believe, the early 1980s, specifically after he successfully retrieved the profound and wrathful image of Guru Rinpoche from the sacred Tiger's Nest Monastery, he used this as a powerful symbol. So for his devoted disciples, this is the most precious thing in their tradition. Including during sacred Dharma assemblies and on authentic ritual seals, this is called the scorpion seal. It is skillfully made into a blessed and consecrated seal. Later, this became their most highest Dharma practice. For many Westerners, it is truly considered the highest Dharma practice. Over 10 years ago, I also really wanted to make an iron scorpion, because the scorpion has some auspicious origins. But later I started to worry that there are too many people nowadays, and that it would turn into a commodity. Plus, many people don't understand it. Because nowadays, when it comes to Tibetan Buddhism, some of our actions are subject to all kinds of slander. Some of it is reasonable, some of it is not. Especially the principles of Vajrayana, those who don't understand might have such views. So in the future, everyone is also thinking about this. Because in the wrathful practices of Guru Rinpoche, the iron scorpion is a very important karmic connection and a significant symbol. Because sometimes when practicing wrathful deities, many iron scorpions may appear in one's mouth or throughout one's body and then destroy the host of demons. Sometimes this is a kind of karmic condition, a profound and intricate connection. Relying upon this particular condition, one can most effectively subdue some external, extremely powerful demonic forces. There are indeed remarkable cases like this as well, demonstrating their undeniable existence and profound impact. So, this is also something truly significant we absolutely need to carefully consider. Also in the past, the esteemed 4th Dzogchen Rinpoche, during one of his very rigorous daily training sessions, because he came into contact with a woman, he later became tainted with misfortune. Much of his previously vast, profound, and incredibly erudite knowledge was completely and utterly forgotten, leaving absolutely nothing behind in his memory. At that particular and significant time, it seemed that the wrathful and awe-inspiring form of Guru Rinpoche powerfully appeared before him and instructed him to practice lion-faced dakini. Afterwards, he diligently practiced the profound teachings of lion-faced dakini. Eventually, all these significant obstacles and misfortunes were completely dispelled. There are indeed cases like this as well. Therefore, the powerful, wrathful form of Guru Rinpoche, in Tibetan area, we generally also see it depicted in intricate thangkas, and its presence can also be found within the sacred assembly halls. There are, however, some particularly special and unique cases. For instance, in the serene country of Bhutan, there exists a significant monastery known as Drilungzame, which it seems is not mentioned in Chinese sources. This monastery truly exists, and it is indeed one of the 3 profoundly significant and great sacred mountains of Bhutan. It is situated quite a considerable distance away from the renowned Tiger's Nest Monastery. In fact, upon the ancient and revered walls of this very monastery, there are many different images of Guru Rinpoche, including his distinct handprints, intricate symbols, and a rich variety of natural images. It is widely said that within this sacred place, the revered Guru Rinpoche meticulously concealed 60 profound volumes of precious Dharma teachings. And at that time, Guru Rinpoche manifested the most miraculous powers and supernatural abilities. I myself have not actually been there. When we went at that very particular time, later everyone said that this place is where many of Guru Rinpoche's significant signs of accomplishment can be readily found. Moreover, there are numerous natural iron scorpion imprints clearly visible on the rocks. They are especially striking and quite remarkable. What exactly is this particular place called Drilungzame? I'm truly not sure how to properly say this in English. It genuinely seems I haven't even seen it mentioned in Chinese either. But over there, they actually have a monastery with the distinct iron scorpion's imprint. People in Bhutan are quite familiar with it. At that time, we also really wanted to visit this place, but due to transportation and time constraints back then. So, if you happen to go to Bhutan in the future, you will truly encounter numerous wrathful images and depictions of Guru Rinpoche. They are actually found much more frequently and are indeed quite prevalent in Bhutan. Therefore, I believe that diligently practicing this particular kind of yidam is also profoundly necessary and highly beneficial. Sometimes it may happen that even during our spiritual practice, we also encounter obstacles. Obstacles can take many different forms. I remember the first Dudjom Rinpoche when he was 14 years old. There was also a very serious and significant epidemic that occurred. One day, it seems that when he woke up in the morning, what exactly did he see? A venerable monk and a young woman told him, "Let's quickly go to a truly happy place." When he was just about to go, someone riding a magnificent giant Garuda suddenly told him something important. "You absolutely must not go." Then it seems he was given a wrathful image of the 4-armed Guru Rinpoche. Because of this reason, he said that he survived this time. Otherwise, he might have died if he had gone along with that monk and the young woman just now. I suppose it might, because the man and woman trampled under the feet of the wrathful Guru Rinpoche. Generally, some older monks' images are not very auspicious and can be quite unsettling. Maybe they would have taken him to that place. So sometimes perhaps we too didn't die during last year's epidemic. It also might because we practiced wrathful Guru Rinpoche. I was constantly practicing that particular practice at that specific time during the global pandemic, and it was part of my daily routine. we were practicing that, what was it called? Also a wrathful Guru Rinpoche, the Guru Rinpoche who dispels epidemics, right? It was also Guru Rinpoche. You see, at that particular time, even Dudjom Rinpoche, if you look at his autobiography, he also attained realization through practicing a wrathful Guru Rinpoche. Maybe the reason we are still alive is due to the blessings of the Guru Rinpoche who dispels epidemics. It's possible, or maybe not. I can't say for sure either, but I personally really believe in it. Now, in this degenerate age, maybe every year, all of us will, in the future, if we have the chance to meet, that's good. And if we don't get the chance to meet, for the sake of safeguarding your own practice, I think if you do it this way, it's still fine. This book is already worn out. There is a significant Vajrakilaya practice located at the very back of this practice manual. Is this truly yours? To whom does it belong? You are truly impressive. A big thumbs up for you today. Please come. I used your practice manual to transmit it. The auspicious connection is quite good indeed and very favorable. When exactly was this document translated? It was most probably translated approximately 10 years ago, around that time. So in this case, I've transmitted all the teachings to everyone. Those who practice are indeed practicing. Those who don't practice maybe haven't recited it all. This also depends on each person's situation. I've more or less introduced the practice of Wrathful Guru Rinpoche. I'll stop the introduction. If you find the wrathful aspect a bit frightening and can't accept it, then just practice Guru Rinpoche. If you don't feel much connection with that, in that case, practice Shakyamuni Buddha, including Medicine Buddha, and also, if there are some yidams from Chinese Han Buddhism, and you can accept them, you can recite those as well. It's not that just because I've transmitted it today, you must recite it this way. But for me personally, since childhood, I've had a special connection with Guru Rinpoche, almost like feeling he is my own father. It's a special kind of feeling, and whenever I bring it up, I always have a sense of faith. No matter where I go, I always carry an image of Guru Rinpoche with me, and I also carry his incredibly powerful mantra as well. I've done this before too. Once, on the anniversary of the parinirvana of His Holiness, there was a full and complete circle of Guru Rinpoche's sacred mantra outside. I thought, if someone carries this on their body, evil spirits and negative forces cannot harm them. That's true if you carry Guru Rinpoche's mantra or image, but if one's karma from past lives is strong, rampant negative forces may not be blocked due to certain conditions. Karma is truly indeed terrifying. So I also feel that it's not easy for anyone to get through these times. On the surface, it may seem as if no one faces any obstacles, as if there's no one else but oneself. But in reality, if you really look into each person's heart, every year is actually very difficult. It may look like, for example, except for myself, everyone else seems to have gotten through happily. But actually, everyone might think this way. Except for a very few people who have cultivated well, it seems like everyone is facing all kinds of challenges. A couple of days ago, we were selecting esteemed Khenpos, and there were more than 40 candidates at the time. One of the great Khenpos spoke to them on the spot, saying, "You have spent 16 years here studying and contemplating. It must not have been easy to make it through." At that moment, I agreed with what he had said, because many of the Dharma teachers here, including what I observed during the exams, were very enthusiastic at the beginning, but gradually, over time, their motivation faded, especially when the inner demons became severe. If the inner demons did not interfere, then external things like illness or harm of earth, water, fire, and wind are not that serious. But when it comes to inner demons, they are serious disturbance. At such times, one can only rely on either a special blessing from a yidam or one's own realization. In this way, there might be a chance for salvation. So I think that many of the Dharma friends here, their practice is such that if they passed away, it would be a good beginning and end. This is also due to relying on the yidam, relying on certain things. It's like, for example, having to survive on a battlefield. Maybe you rely on your own armor or on your own courage and strength. It's related to this. That's why I place particular emphasis on this. Some Khenpos have also mentioned before that apart from some simple practices, one shouldn't talk about these practices. But perhaps everyone's experiences are different. Even before studying Buddhism, I was very interested in Guru Rinpoche's practices. I've always found these fascinating. Just because I'm interested doesn't mean you all are. But since I'm giving this class, it's related to my own interests, and it's also related to my faith. Maybe it will be beneficial for you as well, whether it's the profound mind transmission blessing or the sacred Guru yoga practice method. Perhaps it's like this. So I personally believe that His Holiness Jigme Phuntsok Rinpoche is truly no different from the Wrathful Guru Rinpoche. For example, when composing this treatise at Chimpfu, he first encountered a demoness at the beginning. I mentioned this in the biography I wrote before. I can't recall the specific details, but His Holiness immediately subdued her. So the demons of our own discursive thoughts, for some people there may be just one, for others two, and for some individuals there are many, many of them. With compassion as our fundamental foundation, we should recognize our own mind, its emptiness. Within the state of emptiness, relying on the power of visualized dependent origination, if you can destroy all adverse conditions, then your practice will undoubtedly have a very good beginning and a truly excellent end, and the profound act of benefiting all sentient beings may also become remarkably easy. So for today, we will conclude our discussion here. Next, let us practice this sadhana together. Are you going to recite it on your own, or should I lead all of you in reciting? Let's recite it now together. Let's take a moment to practice his profound mantra for a little while. Shall we all do that together?
Honde tamche dumani matye kadanyale ruba chile nyambarza ranyadangara chapona marpo jache shaniba Chaye dorje nam kanchar ayombe de bat granzan jani recha pomurtan kartan janva tserdje de cho chernanar kalazo yeshe me pombarvi Chochom Soncha Chartambe the Ponjumbi Kurasa Takanyarta Hom Tantar Nadim Chanve Yesakur Nade Tongsan Yojangar Nato de Gama Metir Omangara Artsin Namo Bangade Hom Oma Artsin Namo Bangavade Hom Omgara Artsin Namo Bangavade Hom Omgara Artsin Namo Bangavade Hom Omgara Artsin Namo Bangavade Hom Om Gara Sinati Namo Bangavade Hum Bat Om Gara Sinati Namo Bangavade Hum 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 Om Gara Sinasi Namo Bhagavate Hum. 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 Om Sinasi Namo Bhagavate Hum. Om Gara 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 Sinasi Namo Om Gara Sinasi Namo Bhagavate Om Gara Sinasi Namo Bhagavate Hum. Om Gara Sinasi Namo Bhagavate Om Gara Sinasi Namo Bhagavate Hum. 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 Padai Kilata Jansurat De Zokanda Nebe Sajos Nadan Orbon Tatsu Jevada Chudan Trashim Perum Zad Suras Sonam Dei Tamse Tobani Tonani Bejana Bashi Jirgana Jirano Chupan Chupun Sonen Droa
Bandangara Badma Sodhargye Bandangara Padmasambhawa Padmasambhawa Padmasambhawa